Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt with our Thursday workout. We're gonna get 2 rounds of the warm-up, 10 calories, your choice, row, bike, or ski. Then we'll do some drinking birds, which is just a single leg hip hinge. Make sure both of my knees stay bent and that I'm feeling the stretch primarily in the front leg hamstring when I do this, and that I'm not either locking my knees out or curling my back down. I wanna replicate a good hip hinge position with both knees bent. Then we're gonna do some grasshoppers. So grasshopper, start in the plank position and reach the knee to the opposite elbow, 10 reps on each side. And then this PVC psoas stretch. This is one of my favorite stretches. This feels really good to do. So I'll grab the end of one PVC pipe, step the opposite foot in line with the end of the pipe, and then the other leg goes way, way back. I'm kind of reaching and twisting towards the PVC pipe and turning my head away from it. All right, just do that for about 15 seconds on each side. Then we're gonna do some prehab and deadlift warm-ups. So this is an EMOM that is meant to be a little bit strenuous, but really just an extended warm-up before we get to a relatively shorter deadlift and sled workout. So there's 4 stations. We're gonna rotate 4 times through for a total of 16 minutes. The first station is a deadlift warm-up set. So empty barbell, and there's some deadlift progression weights here, but we're just going from the shins up to the hips. Right, deadlift warm-up set, and then set the bar down, right? Next we're gonna do 4 reps per leg of a single leg eccentric squat with the heel elevated. That's a lot of words, but this is a knee rehab exercise, and it's also really good for the core and the hip flexors. So you can see I got this little tiny dumbbell. You could also use a plate. You could use the wedge that we have over in the corner, or some of the wedges that we have over in the equipment rack. And I'm holding on to something so that I can control my tempo on the way down, all the way to the bottom, and then I can use both feet to stand up with. So it's really just riding that eccentric down with one leg and keeping the heel off the ground when I do it. Next one is 8 reps of a wall angel. So this is a shoulder and rotator cuff exercise. So I'm gonna bend my knees a little bit, but not as much as in the next exercise. Elbows to the wall, and then without letting my back come away from the wall, rotate my hands up and reach overhead till my arms are straight, and then pull back down. So I'm trying to slide my forearms up and down the wall without letting my back leave the wall. And then you can stay put and just slide down into a parallel wall sit for the next minute. And it's just 30 seconds of that minute, right? So that's it. So 4 times through that little sequence, and make sure you take enough time to build or get your weights out so you build your percentages up on the deadlift as we go through that 16-minute warm-up sequence. And then when we're done with that, we should have our deadlift bar ready to go for that 65 to 75% of your 1 rep max. And we're gonna start an AMRAP. So that's as many rounds and reps as you can get in 12 minutes of these 2 exercises. All we're doing is 6 reps of the deadlift, and these should be relatively tough. So 65 to 75%, especially when you're under a little bit of fatigue, right? Should be pretty challenging, right? But again, the weight is moderate, 65 to 75%. Then you're gonna go outside, and we're gonna do 1 length of a sled push. So that is where I have the handles of the sled and I am pushing on it. And then on the way back, turn the sled around, and we'll have the straps out there, and then we're doing the sled pull, all right? So there's important body positions. When we do the sled pull, I want you to have your hips behind your shoulders, and you're pulling with your toes as you're walking backwards with that sled, okay? So make sure that you're not leaning backward and pushing with your heel, but we're leaning forward and pulling with your toes. So the walking position is exactly the opposite when we're going forward and when we're going backward. So when we're going forward, it's heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. When we're going backward, it should be toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, okay? And that is it for today. Enjoy the sled pull and push and deadlifts.